you've been doing. This is my first time here, so I'm excited. Kind of a segue from where we were. We talk a lot about transition as being death, and when I was thinking about the question that I wanted to ask, it was about being in transition and being in a transitional place in my life.
You always are.
Yeah.
You always are, because life keeps causing you to be more, and you're always in the transition of allowing yourself to be the more that you've become. And when that's the path you're on, then you're having a really good time. It's only when you're dragging your feet that it's uncomfortable.
So in this transition, I feel like my grid has been filling in on this side, and everything that I've known that has been steady, that has been good, that has been strong is on this side.
Well, everything that you are is always moving with you. In other words, you're not leaving anything behind. There is a distinction. We just talked about it. Let's focus here. What's the distinction between where I'm going and where I'm going from? And of course it's logical. If I'm going there, I'm leaving there. But who cares about there when you're going there? And the most important thing is that you're right here. And so while you're here, it doesn't matter if you're looking forward or if you're looking behind. The only thing that matters is when you're looking, if it feels good when you're looking. And we're just here to let you know that since we're looking forward, when you're playing with us, which feels the best, that's the sales job we've been doing all day, yeah? So if you want to play with us, look forward. We're not saying you can't look behind. We're just not looking behind. We're looking forward.
What if forward is so unknown?
It always is. That's why it's fun.
I know.
But
okay.
it looks unknown, but it doesn't feel unknown. That's what that faith is. That's what that confidence is. In other words, when you know what you know because you've got the basics down, what a beautiful day it is when you wake up and you don't know what it's going to be, but you know it's going to be good. Esther's trying to imagine all of you at her house. It's hard to imagine, but she knows you'll work it out. In other words, there's enough property, there are enough buildings, there are enough spaces, there are enough places to see, and she knows that you'll just move around. You're wise enough to all not get in the treehouse at the same moment. 10 of you at a time in the treehouse. In other words, so the exhilaration, the knowing that it's going to be a life-giving adventure, and not knowing the details of how it's going to work out is the deliciousness of life. Because if you try to work all of the details out in advance, you'll drive yourself crazy because you are forgetting all of the cooperative components that are going to rendezvous with you that you can't see right now. You can't see them or hear them or smell them or taste them or touch them, but you can sense them, you can feel them, you can know them. So it's a sort of attitude of trust. And once you've hung around on that high-flying disc for a while, long enough to know that things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. And so then the adventure is, in what way? In what way? What's going to surprise me and delight me today? Because you see, you've been sifting and sorting, and you've put all of the components into your vortex, into your vibrational reality. But you don't remember all the things you put there. You don't remember the things that you put there before you even made your transition into this physical experience. You don't remember all of those details, but you will remember them when you see them, you see. And so think about it. All the delicious ingredients that you've picked up along your physical trail, like a desire for confidence and a desire for value and a desire for clarity and a desire for being an uplifter and being uplifted and a desire for beauty and for a desire of comprehension and for a desire of interesting things and on, all of those things that you put into your vortex. And imagine this vortex being queued up and ready to give to you just as much as you're ready to receive, not more, not less. Will never overwhelm you. It'll never underwhelm you. It will always meet you right where you are. Ooh, did you hear that? It will always meet you right where you are. And so if you're doing the work, if you're doing the vibrational work, imagine where all of that is meeting you. At your height of clarity, at your height of understanding, at your height of everything that feels good. You'll be up for it, we promise you, you see. You don't ever need to worry. Nothing's coming to you that you're not ready for.
And having the courage to...
Courage?
You don't need that, right? Okay, sorry.
Courage is what you need when you don't have, when the universe isn't at your back. Courage is what you need when you're walking through the darkness.
Exactly.
There's no darkness. There's no darkness. There's no risk, there's no darkness, there's nothing to fear. There's just good stuff making its way to you in perfect alignment. It's like having a concierge you filled out all the questionnaires. So this concierge knows all the things you like to eat and all the things you like to drink and all the places you like to go and all the things you like to do, and knows everything about where you are, and has just lined up this perfect unfolding for you.
How do you know when it's time? How do you know when it's time?
The impulse, time for what?
Time to drink in the juiciness of all of those things.
When you're thirsty.
There. Okay. Gotcha.
When the impulse comes. In other words, you know, well, first of all, we have to, let us be fair to you. Okay. Once you've been hanging around on this high-flying disc for a week or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, 50, once you've been hanging around there, you won't ask that question, because the impulse comes and you just know. And your feeling is sort of like somebody will say, well, how do you know? And you want to say, well, what's not to know? They'll say, well, how did you know you wanted to go down that path? You say, nothing could keep me from going down that path. The impulse was just so strong. But that makes it sound to you like there are these big things that you got to work all the bugs out of. And it's not like that. It's just a thought here, a word here, an idea here. Because you see, the path that you're on isn't to get you someplace. It's because of the path that you're on. The place you want to get to just gives you the excuse to be on the path. The path is where it's at. Because you're not ever going to get there. That path just keeps appearing before you and before you, before you. It's like the opposite of the Cheshire cat. It's not erasing it behind it, it's throwing it out ahead.
And it doesn't matter if nobody else is on that path. All of the people that, I'm very responsible for a lot of people, so if they're not on that path...
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be on it and sometimes they won't. But if you're waiting around for them to get on, you'll resent them for not taking care of business. In other words, if you start denying your path that you can feel so strong, ever stronger, and you're trying to get somebody else to keep up, then you're not on the path, and then you're blaming them for not being on the path. So what you do, you just carve out a really good path. What does a path say to you? What kind of path do you think most people are looking for? A well-traveled path. So just trump the path. Knock all the bushes out of the way. Make a big vibrational journey of this path. In other words, make the path one that is robust and that feels good. And many will come with you on the path. And you'll meet many new ones along the path. And there's a lot of people that you think aren't coming that are. That you're just missing them being there because you didn't think they were coming, and so you're not looking where they are. That was really good.
That was good.
Oh, surprised to see you here. Yeah, you haven't been looking for me here, but I've been here. I've been zigging while you've been zagging. That's really what's happening with a lot of you, because you're up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. But as you are more consistently sustaining your high-flying vibration, you'll be recognizing a lot more people who just kind of blunder onto the path. It's like even this trajectory that we were talking about. So imagine this trajectory that started even before your birth, and it's a trajectory of well-being and confidence and alignment and clarity and all of that stuff that you aspire to. So here's this trajectory. And so let's say that you're really little and your parents are very positive and they just love you and adore you, and it's all good things that come out of their mouth. So here you're on this path and they're on that path with you, and it seems like the path is just moving along, and then you go to school. And let's say your teacher's not having as much fun in life as she would like to. And so your teacher is and your teacher believes that it is her job to point out every flaw that you might have, that it's her job to teach you the rights and the wrongs of everything. And so suddenly, gradually, but because of this influence, now you're having a little bumpy ride for a little while. But your guidance is trying to call you this way. You really know that you're good, and you really know that you're valuable. And so you have a little departure, a little tributary off of this main path, but you find your way back there, and when you do, you feel the relief of it. And while you were off on that sort of wild goose chase, you were launching more rockets of desire and more clarity. You actually shored up the trajectory of who you really are in a stronger way. So we're never wanting you to believe that you have to get it all figured out and do it all exactly right every step along the way. But it would help you ever so much if you could just take away from this conversation, it's supposed to feel good, and when it doesn't, you are off the path for whatever reason. And don't try too hard to figure out what's wrong, and while you're off the path, just try to find words that soothe, that get you back on it. And before you know it, you'll have such a steady, strong, clear trajectory that many of the people who have been looking to you for guidance will come right along with you. And you'll have many opportunities to have those conversations to let them know what you've come to know. Don't worry about leaving people behind, because first of all, if you stay back with them, you'll come to resent them. And most important, if you're not moving with the power and clarity of who you really are, then you're not that attractive, charismatic being who is calling them forward. You see what we're getting at? There is so much leverage in this alignment, and there is so little leverage in the alignment on the onward disc or the alignment on the fearful disc. The power is in that true alignment. Don't you notice that? Aren't you drawn to people who are having a good time? And aren't you drawn to people who feel good? Aren't you drawn to lighthearted? Don't you like feeling good? Isn't happiness a very strong compulsion? Don't you gravitate there? Or did that teacher get hold of you and convince you that you're here to prove some sort of worthiness that no one can ever prove, because there's no one taking score like that except you, and all you do is prove to yourself that you're disconnected, so stop it. Did we get there?
Yes.
Enough?
Yes.
Really
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much.